very, very precious hours. We're holding both the last couple of days of the precious gift of Elul, this precious month, and then a few days before Rosh Hashanah, before the precious month of Rosh Hashanah, for the precious Chag of Rosh Hashanah, the last Shabbos of the year. This Shabbos Kodesh is the last Shabbos of the year. We discussed Reb Chatzkel, how much he felt the last two Shabbos, and he spoke about it a lot, of making Chizukim. He spoke about the last two Shabbos. He spoke that if Klal Yisrael would be Shomer two Shabbos, it would bring the Geula Miyad Hei Negalim. And he said that's the Geula Klalis for Klal Yisrael. The Geula Pratis for a Yid is the final two Shabbos of the year. And he explained that the Yesod of the two Shabbos, the Kedusha of the first Shabbos and that week, and that bringing it to the last Shabbos, and coming to the last Shabbos with that Kedusha has tremendous power to impact. Reb Chatzkel wasn't just saying, Reb Chatzkel was very measured on his words. And if Reb Chatzkel said there's a tremendous koyach to the last two Shabbos of the year, Reb Chatzkel wasn't given to hyperbole and just to speak about something. And a matter of fact, the last year of his life, when he was very sick, and his son-in-law was delivering speeches, he asked his son-in-law to say this. He wasn't, his son-in-law spoke what his son-in-law wanted, but he asked him to tell the tzibur, to remind them about the preciousness of the final two Shabbos. He asked his son-in-law to speak about it. It's quite a precious Leil Shishi that we have the final Shabbos of the year upon us, the final days of Elul, headed into Rosh Hashanah, very, very holy and auspicious, a precious time. I want to share something, I want to share a couple of thoughts, not to say Chidushim, but to be ma'ayras, to bring a ha'sayras, to really utilize these precious few days and this precious time that's upon us. So a question that we contemplate, that many Yidden headed to these days contemplate, we know the Gemara. The Gemara says, Dirshu Hashem bi matzai, karo b'yaisei karev. The Gemara speaks about these precious 10 days, and it says, Elu is the Eser Yom Bein Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. These 10 precious days are calling out to Hashem when He's very close, is the 10 precious days from Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. We know that we have a title to these days as the 10 days of Tshuva, Aseres Yemei Tshuva, the 10 days of Tshuva. And we're all always wonder that it's funny to call the 10 days of tshuva when the first 2 days don't really appear to have much tshuva. We've started already before Yemei Slichas already last Motzei Shabbos by Ashkenazim. Svardim already started Rosh Chodesh Elul, and we've gotten into Slichos and Vidui. We started days of tshuva. But all of us, whether it's Ashkenaz or Svard, are going to take a break from Yemei Tshuva, the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah. We're not going to do Tshuva. So it seems funny to call it Aseres Yemei Tshuva. It's really the Shemaina Yemei Tshuva. There are 8 days of Tshuva. From Tzom Gedalia through Yom Kippur, we have 8 days of Tshuva. To call them the 10 days of Tshuva is rather interesting, because Rosh Hashanah does not appear to have such an inyan of tshuva. So that's question one. What's this? Klal Yisrael calls it Aseres Yemei Tshuva. The Gemara puts those 10 days as Elu Eser Yamim. There's like a Chativa Achas. They're one slice. The Gemara already calls them these days of calling to Hashem when He's close. There's one Chefsa, these 10 days, these Eser Yamim, Bein Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, when it actually seems like 2 days and 8 days, they seem to be divided. Question one. Question two is the Rambam. The inyan of shofar is open in the Gemara Rosh Hashanah. That shofar is being mamlech Hashem. And Reb Sadia Gaon, who has a list of what the shofar, we read the list, many Amachzayim print Reb Sadia Gaon's list of what the shofar is saying. It's a coronating Hashem as Melech, being mamlech Hashem. And that is the call of the shofar. And yet, that's the pashtus of the shofar. That's the Gemara says. The Gemara says, Imru lefanai malchius, Kadesha tamlichuni aleichem. Say Malchias in front of me in order to coronate me as your king. Be mamlich me as the king. Be mamlich me as the king. In Chassidish Svarim it's brought that a Yid should view it. This is all to bring it out. You have a melech who's not sure he wants to come back. People, a melech don't quit. I picture there was a very famous Rav in Europe who quit during davening. His wife had struggled and gone off the derech, and he quit. In the middle of davening, he stood up, and it was on Grada with Shabbos Shuvah, and he said, Rabbi, I quit. The tzibur followed him home to beg him to come back. He never came back. He didn't agree. But the tzibur begged him, be the Rav. I don't believe he ever came back. He quit. He said, if I can't teach my wife, if I can't lead my mishpacha, I can't be a Rav, and he quit. And the tzibur begged him back. In Chassidish Svarim, they bring that in Rosh Hashanah, there's kaviyachol, or reluctance, kaviyachol. We don't mean this. We're human. We're asking Hashem, Ki'ilu, there's like a reluctance, but Klal Yisrael, we want you, Hashem. We want to be your Avadim. We want you to rule over us. It's brought in such an eifin. It's hard for us to say such words, but that's how Chassidish Svarim bring it, that the eifin is begging the Melech, we want to serve you. We want your Malchus, Hashem. We're interested in your Malchus. Fascinating way of viewing Malchus, very sharp. Say you're Melech, we want to be a Melech, please Hashem. Another year of, please. And we blow the shofar, so it says, Imru lefanai Malchus kadesh tamlichuni aleichem. In order to make me king, Ki'ilu, there's a reluctance, Ki'ilu. The Melech doesn't need them. Hashem's Gevaya. Ki'ilu, Hashem, please. We want your Malchus. We want to serve you. For us, we want it. Don't run, please, Hashem. That's the Malchus. Imru l'fanei Malchus. Zichreinais, in order that the our Zecher comes to Hashem l'toiva, ubima. And l'chayru bima means, how are we mamlich Hashem? We say Malchus, kedei shetamlichuni aleichem. We're asking Hashem to be Melech, and then we coronate him. We coronate Hashem with the shofar. So the pashtus of the shofar is being Mamlech Hashem. We blow a horn as a symbol, as a sign of Hashem is the Melech. And Rav Sadia Gaon's first pshat in Tkiyah shofar is being Mamlech Hashem, and yet all of us know the Rambam, that the Rambam says is a remez in Tkiyah shofar, is a remez to tshuva. It's a remez to tshuva. That's what the Rambam says. Many Lamdanim ask the kasha. The Rambam doesn't bring it in Hilchas Shofar. Fascinating. Hilchas Shofar, he doesn't make mention. Hilchas Tshuva, interesting. Hilchas Shofar, he doesn't bring this remez at all. Very fascinating. In Hilchas Tshuva, the Rambam brings that Tkiyah Shofar as a remez, wake up, do Tshuva. So that's very fascinating. The pashtus of the shofar is a Gemara. It's not Chazal, it's not a Gemara. The pashtus of shofar is being Mamlech Hashem. Comes the Rambam and he says the shofar is a call to tshuva. A call to tshuva? We don't do tshuva on Rosh Hashanah. It's like an early call. Don't jump the gun. We should clap before the shofar. We clap. We announce nobody should talk from after the brachas on the shofar till after all the. We should clap. Rabbi said, but don't do tshuva right away. Like wait till Wednesday. Wait till Tzayim Gedalia. Nobody should jump the gun. But the Rambam says is a remez in the shofar is Uri Yeshenim Shinaschem. Let's go. Wake up. People waste their time and Havlei Azman. In Hilchas Tshuva he brings that there's a call to Tshuva in the shofar. But the first days of Rosh Hashanah we don't even do Tshuva, and it's a call to Tshuva. A little funny, the pashtus of the shofar, and the Gemara says is Tamlichuni, is the shofar, is the Mamlech Hashem. And yet there's a remez, there's a sugya of remez, there's something underneath. There's something underneath the remez of Tshuva. So what's this remez of tshuva on a day we don't do tshuva? And the Ram in Hilchas Tshuva brings it, not in Hilchas Shofar, but Hilchas Tshuva brings the remez of shofar to do tshuva. So I want to say, I'm sorry? You could think, we don't even mention, it's funny, the way the Achrayim say is don't do tshuva because it's ma'ayra the mekatrig. Don't be ma'ayra the mekatrig. I think the Balatanya, I think the Shulchan Aruch Harav says it's ma'ayra the mekatrig. To say chatoim is dangerous. We don't want to let the satan be fashlufen. You don't want to wake him up. Now, you're not supposed to. You're not allowed to. You're not supposed to speak about your chatoim on Rosh Hashanah, as reflected in the davening. We don't speak about our chatoim. Yeah, you're not allowed. It's ma'ir, you're not allowed. The davening guides us, is instructive. The davening makes no mention. Person shouldn't start saying his chatoim on Rosh Hashanah. He brings lahedya that it's ma'ir kategorim, not to do it. And yet the shofar has this remez of wake up. The Rambam Hilchos Tshuva brings this, Sayiris V'Tshuva. So no chidushim. I'm not looking to say chidushim. I'm actually looking just to come to Rosh Hashanah. No chidushim, Rabbi say. I want to say like this, but I want to bring it out in a way that we could touch it and feel it. And I want to say that this week, there were two roommates. They got in a little scuffle. It happens. Two beautiful people. Each one felt so badly they got into a scuffle. Two guys, to be roommates, unnatural, so very little space, and they got into a fight. And they both wanted to switch rooms. And I was clearing, should I try to make peace or just switch their rooms? So I was thinking about it. It was on my mind. They both want to switch rooms. They don't want to fight. They're both guttas. And they want to be nice. Chas v'sholom no sinas Yisrael. Meichet, not everybody's meant to be roommates. Each guy said the other guy's a fine fellow. He's a great guy. I'd like him from the other room. I like him from a distance. We shouldn't be roommates. So I was thinking about like Meichatesa, they have to be roommates. Okay, put him here, and from far they'll give Shalom al Yisrael. Everybody has to be best friends. You're not allowed to hate a Yid. Everybody's mechuyev to be the best friends. They'll love him from far. They'll daven for him. They'll root for him. Roommates is special. To be roommates is a certain. So I was thinking like, nope, maybe they shouldn't be. I was like clearing. It was on my mind this week, mamish this week. So I'm clearing what to do, how to do it, who has to move. They each had such an easy eitzah. Each guy was like, just move the other guy. Like, I don't get the problem, Rebbe. I was like, you both have such a good plan. Like, it's so obvious. What do you do? I told him, let's figure it out. Be roommates a couple more days. Maybe we'll flip a coin. I don't know. I'm looking for Shlomo Melech. Everybody knows where he is. Beseder. I don't know. But I was thinking about it, that roommates, mechates, they need to be roommates. It was on my mind. A bacher comes and started describing a tremendous rift he has with his tata. And it hit me like a bolt, Rabbi say. I'm talking about this week. Two roommates got into a sichsuch yitzchak, they were in a fight. So they want to switch, beseder. Nope. They have to be roommates. A guy is tremendously upset at his tata. Something like, nope, just move. It's doch a ben and an av. There's a relationship there. It's there. There's doch a ben and an av. You don't just say, okay, nope, okay, move rooms. It's doch a ben and an av. By the two guys that are roommates, it's shaykh to say, move them. Meichatesi, they have to be roommates. By a father and son, I can't say mechatesi. Okay, so you don't live in different places. There's a relationship that's there forever. He'll always be his Av and his Ben. He came from him. There's tifa connection that you can't separate. Many people love pretending. I say, I'm past it. I don't talk to my father, but you're past it. A kid's dreams. I remember my father became Rav. My father became Rav. Father wasn't a youngster when he became Rav. He should live longer years. He wasn't a youngster. He told me, Daniel, it's not worth so much. I'll never forget it. He said, it's not. I said, I was like, wish him a mazel tov. He told me it's not the same. He said, I want to see my mother kfelin that I'm Rav. He was older, like, he said his mother was an oil mem. He knows his mother sees, but he wants to see it. He wants his eyes to look at Mama kfelin that he's the Rav. He said, I lose so much simcha of the position that I don't have my mother kfelin that I'm Rav. father and a son, a mother and a child and a daughter. It's tif. It's pashut bra kara davoin. It's one chefsa, a son and a father. There's not past it. Like, say, we switch rooms. It's a tata and a son. It's deep. It's profound. It's eternal. It's not just okay. I mamish felt it this week. I felt it. 2 roommates, they switch. It's not such a big deal. It literally is not the biggest deal. They were both so nice about it. Okay, each one's planned to move the other guy. I said, do any of you have a good plan? I'll move. Call me back if that's your plan. I have to figure that out. But the etzem moving, it doesn't say anywhere in Shulchan Aruch they have to be roommates. It was like vanilla. Okay, so we won't be roommates. Shalom, be nice to each other. You're not meant to be the roommate. They're different types. You're a 4 o'clock in the morning guy. You're a 10 o'clock guy. You're talking about the best roommates. The father and son. The contrast of a relationship that's there. That it's a fact of the closeness, a fact of the kesher, that you have to work, what do you do? But it's a fact of, they're tied to each other. A tie forever. He'll always be his son, he'll always be his ab. It's a tie forever. That's not just moved them, it came to me. And I want to come to Rosh Hashanah with this, Rabbi say. I want to say that there's a tshuva klalis and a tshuva pratis. The Baal Shem already called Rosh Hashanah tshuva klalis. I didn't coin the phrase. The Baal Shem already called Rosh Hashanah tshuva klalis, and he called Yom Kippur tshuva pratis. And the Yisayid Advarim that on Rosh Hashanah ana avdud kudsha brichu. Rosh Hashanah is the avodah of the etzem relationship us and Hashem. Ana avdud, we're avdei Hashem. It's what we are. It's what we want. It's the only thing relevant in our lives. Malay kol olam kulay. We want you, Hashem. I'm not thinking about Chatan. I'm thinking about the absolute need and mitzius of this relationship. I'm not getting involved in what I've done right and wrong. I'll work that out a different time. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking that this relationship is necessary. It's what I want. It's what I am and it's what I have. Maloich, please rule over us, Hashem. I want to be an Aved Hashem. Maloich al kolam kulei. We want you, Hashem. And we're designed, we're betivam, kili avadayim. We're created as Avdei Hashem. It's who we are. Ani avdecha ben amasecha. It's what we're born to be. It's betivam. It's what we are. It's what we want. It's who we identify as in a world that's looking for identity. The who am I is taken on. We're all led there. It's remarkable to me what's going on in the world. It's not to like machavek. The world's like freaking. Who am I? People are struggling. Identity is like, it probably is the main thing, the main issue in the world, identity. And we're like, people are laughing, making fun. There's something going on, that there's a struggle. Who am I? It's a very deep question and a very important. And we're being led somewhere. It's not a joke when people aren't sure who they are. There's something happening. And we get a chance, Rosh Hashanah, to say, I'm an Eved Hashem. It's all I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking, that guy first, you're a Ben and an Av, before we talk about what to do with this relationship. Before we talk about repairs. If I identify, I'm an Eved Hashem. So then, of course, what naturally flows from that is all the things that are blocking, that are in the way, all the things that are disloyal to being who I'm supposed to be. So then I have 8 days to figure out. But ba'ofen klali, the sense I'm an Eved Hashem, and the whole tefillah and bakashas of the yom is about I'm an Eved Hashem. The blow of the horn is I'm being mamlech Hashem. The remez means that what comes, what flows, what's behind it, what's to follow. Perhaps the Rambam doesn't even write in Hilchah Shofar. It's not the Shofar. The Shofar is Mamlech Hashem. That's all the Shofar is. The Shofar is that sound that says, Hashem, you're the Melech. And what I want is to coronate you. Nothing more, nothing less. The remez yesh b'davar. What exists, what flows, what's there in a remez, in the world of remez, is the world of tshuva. What flows from that is, this is the relationship I'm going to have 8 days that come out of this. I'm going to have 8 days of being misakin things that block from what I want to be and from what I am and from what I'm interested in. That's the avoid of the Yemei Rosh Hashanah is Tamlichuni, anoint me, I'm the Melech. Kabel Malchusi. We discussed that this is Yemei Elul, the culmination of Elul is Rosh Hashanah. That Yemei Elul we've discussed already is the days of recognizing Tivam, what we're about and what we're interested in. And that culminates with Rosh Hashanah. This avoid of Yemei Elul and the final few days of Elul, culminating in Rosh Hashanah, is the sense we're tied to Hashem and we're interested in His Malchus. That's what we're focused on Rosh Hashanah. That we want a life, we want your Malchus, Hashem. We want a life of serving you, of being involved with you. I always love in yeshiva, and I want in the shul, when they bring out the Torah, we sing, Ano, Abdul Shabrichu. It's interesting, Rabbi say, that there's two aspects to Rosh Hashanah. There's Yira and there's Simcha. They're both aspects. I don't know anybody. Lahalacha pashtus we paskin. The Shagasari has a tshuva on it that there's a chi of simcha on Rosh Hashanah. You can't fast Rosh Hashanah pashtus. It's a whole shaila with the kiddush. Some people bedafka have a kiddush. Some people don't want to eat before the mitzvah. Some people are makbid. They don't want to fast till chatzos. So it's a complicated day, different shaitas and shailas. The pashtus is you're not allowed to fast Rosh Hashanah. Because it's simcha. It's a Yom Tov. And the Yom Tov is we're Mamlech Hashem's tremendous celebration of coronating the Rabbeinu Shalom, of we're Zeichet to be Avdei Hashem, and He wants us to be Mamlechim. It is us, frail human beings, vulnerable human beings, struggling human beings who are Mamlech Hashem, who coronate the Melech. It's us, He asks, nobody else, to blow the shofar, to be Mamlech Hashem. And so the day has a tremendous joy of being Mamlech Hashem. There's a year for sure because it's a day of din, Zechreinus. It's a day of din, and for sure there's a year there. Both aspects are true. Hashem is judging, and as such we say Zechreinus. There's year there, no question about it. On Rosh Hashanah there's a din, but there's a tremendous simcha. And of course our ikar task is for sure Malchus. That's obvious that the ikar task is Malchus, because if you look at the bracha of Kedushas Hayom, in there is all about Melucha, being Mamlech Hashem. The very Chasima contains that Hashem is the Melech. It doesn't speak about Zechreinus in the bracha of Kedushas Hayom. So the essence of the day, our task is to be Mamlech Hashem. We acknowledge that He's judging, but we say our task is to blow shofar. The only mitzvah hayom is shofar, and the pashtus of shofar is b'ma b'shofar, is to be Mamlech Hashem. So that our task, our mitzvah hayom, which means our duty is to be Mamlech. We recognize that He's judging, and our duty is to be Mamlech. It's very interesting that there are two styles of prayer on Rosh Hashanah. I grew up with a Rebbe, and I still, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, I'm in front of my Rebbe. I'm there. He davened for the Amud. Many pieces of the prayer, I go back to my Rebbe, I feel like I'm there. I'm listening to him. I try to hear him reading the words. And he did not sing. And many places, it's interesting, it's fascinating, that there are communities that the ikar thing of Rosh Hashanah is very serious. But my Rebbe told us not to have guests. Rosh Hashanah, you don't have guests. Told us, very stark. He was serious. I remember the year, I remember when he said it. He said not to have guests. He was very, Rosh Hashanah, and the davening, they didn't sing a lot. Now there are other shuls that sing a tremendous amount. And I want to say that in this shul, in Yeshiva, we sing a lot. We do sing a lot. And it's clear by me that what resonates to our dar, clear, and this is brought in Svarim like this, that Avos Hashem is what resonates today. There's a famous Chayz of Lublin, amazing Chayz of Lublin. The Chayz says that the dar ikvis of the Mashiach, the dar of Mashiach, is Yirei Hashem Yemasu. People who fear Hashem are going to be disgusted in. So Pashut, it's saying like a terrible madrega. They're going to make fun of servants of Hashem. There's such a thing. Pshat is always exists. But the Chayzah said it means that Yireh Hashem Yemasu, because the ikar is going to be Avos Hashem, not Yireh. That's what the Chayzah said, so it's not all B'oif and Gnai. Yireh Hashem Yemasu, people are going to sense that the ikar is Avah. It's clear. I'm not. Each shul has to do what each shul is doing. They're different. Clearly, there expresses this, and there's an aspect of tremendous joy in the tefillas of Rosh Hashanah. Tremendous joy in the tefillas. The joy of Hashem is the Melech, and we're Avdei Hashem. The tremendous chus, the tremendous zchus that we have and want and recognize meaning and purpose, the word relevance. We all crave relevance, and we're Avdei Hashem. Every person wants to be an Eved Hashem. So there's a tremendous joy in Rosh Hashanah. The davening often reflects that joy. It's a serious joy. It's a very precious joy. It's a joy. It's rooted, of course, there's law and there's din and it's gilui berada. There's a seriousness. There's judgment for sure. And the joy doesn't forget the judgment, but the tremendous joy that exists in Rosh Hashanah and reflects in many davenings, many tzibur have the davening, contains that joy. I dare say even, and I'm not getting involved, different gedolim, much bigger people weigh in, there's already becoming like minhagim, people are singing slichos, saying slichos, what's with the music? There's an inyan in slichus. Even in the slichus, there's a base of slichus. And again, there could be song that's ma'ir tshuva, and there could be sad song, but even in tshuva, there's an inyan of a zchus. I pointed out, I'm no musician, but I pointed out, it fascinates me, even the shamnus that we say, it's a pellet, it's almost funny. You ever notice a happy tune? Can we sing it? I want to sing it. You'll tell me, Rav Ezi, if you could start the shamnus. I'm not sure. Okay, one more time. Let's do it together. Let's go. Oh, shamnu, bogadnu, dibarnu, doifi, You ever bother this shlom? It's not a sad song. It's like practical. It's weird. When we sing it, I'm like, what are you? I look around, is Moshe Chaim singing? Are we like everybody together? We're all saying, we're like a room full of sinners. I look around, brilliant. You make sure others are saying it and you can sing. As Amadna Maisa. We sing, it's mamish. Minhag Yisrael is very serious. In a real way. I don't think there's any way of hearing in that song, like sadness. Somebody told me by the Svardim that they say a song, they're like mamish wailing. Our song, like all of it's funny, all of a sudden Minhag Ashkenaz, what's going on? It's very serious, and you go to shuls everywhere. It's not like one shul. Maish, did you have this tune growing up? Was it a sadder tune?
On the day of Rosh Hashanah, but throughout the whole slichus, everything is just happy singing. Yeah, slichus is very happy.
Slichus is, Rav Ezi did the songs by slichus, even the Svardim. He said on Yom Kippur, the guy said on Yom Kippur, it's like wailing. It's interesting, by the Tshuva Pratis. And Avada, the Indian, that it's not so sad, is that we have responsibilities and opportunities, and we could do better, we're not stuck. There's a tremendous Indian of chiyus. There's chiyus. We're people who have shortcomings and are committed to work on it. There's a simcha in the very process. There's a simcha that we're not stuck people who are looking to tzazamin. Rabbi said tzazamin. We're going to be better. We're going to be more loyal. But God, we haven't always been as loyal as we should, and we plan to be more loyal. And there's a chiyus. I always look around for environments that should be chiyus. Should be life. There should be. I look in Blue Ridge. I have a tremendous simcha. There's chiyus here. Come out weekly, mishpachas are coming. There's chiyus and beautiful, sincere families. Daniel Goldberg, a kohen, a chazan, week after week. There's chiyus, and you look, people are growing and they care. And there's chiyus. There's chiyus. Chiyus. There's energy. We always look for chiyus. Ashamnu is a big chiyus. We're not stuck people. We have things we want to work on. There's a chiyus. So it's funny, interesting. The song. Josh, Yemaskim Rosh Hashanah, the tefillah has an optimistic. Now, I admit, there are places of prayer that will emphasize the seriousness and the fear of the day, for sure. I definitely see many shuls and many aspects, and I'm sharing both with the Chevra. I'm sharing both ideas with the Olam. But I want to talk about this tshuva klalis of chapping that we're tied and linked and together. And there's a great chizuk and a great chiyus in that. We're Avdei Hashem. I like saying Ana Avdei Kudsha Brichu on Rosh Hashanah. We bring out the Torah. We say it every Shabbos. Rosh Hashanah, to sing it by davening in yeshiva, that's a big pause. It's about 10-15 minutes. Again, different years, but it's a big emphasis. Avdei Hashem. Ana Avdei Kudsha Brichu. So I wanted to say this on these precious final days of the year. I wanted to say this to us all. I wanted to close on the precious, just on this last Shabbos, I want to close and say as follows. We talk about Chiyus, we talk about Rosh Hashanah as a tremendous Skulas Hazman, Minhag Yisrael. People are calling each other up, Vinching, Akut Gebencht Yor, a year of Mazel and Bracha. We're so makir that it's a new din and a new beginning. We're giving brachas, it should be good, there should be blessings and simchas and nachas and kayach and gesund. We're makir new. So I want to say to us all to capitalize on new, to allow for a schadshus. I had such a funny thing. I was talking to youngsters about not being stuck, about the call of the shofar. I was talking the beautiful call of the shofar, the sound of let's go, let's move forward, ever renewing the Malchus Shemayim, recognizing who we are, a chance fresh. Mamlech Hashem, new day, new celebration. He is the King ever fresh. We're the Avadim ever fresh. So I was talking to youngsters, and I was talking about not falling into old patterns, and it like dawned on me. One of the guys, a very young guy who has big dreams, he was like, "Of course," like googly-eyed, like, "What are you talking about?" It was. I just asked him, "Say more, keep going," and he was like, "I don't know what you're saying," and he was like, "Of course," and it was so. He was such a shofar, this youngster. We get different ages and we get stuck in patterns and we're stuck as a certain husband, father, person, all different things, way we daven. To hear a youngster who, freshness and newness, he has big dreams and aspirations, what he's going to be, where he's going to go. He was my shofar. It was funny, you talk to different crowds. As we get older, the shofar is it's important always. Ever important, that call, that sound of fresh, that sound of new. It's interesting mitzvah that it's so chaviv to people. From young ages, the kids are excited about shofar. All of us, with that little child, shofar, it's exciting. I don't know if it's only a year later, I don't know in my life if I'll ever forget. I was speaking before shofar in yeshiva, and I'm darshaning, thinking people want to hear. I'm like screaming, yelling before shofar. And two little kids, this beautiful boy, Michal Ber, named after a Weissmandel, he comes over, he's probably, how old is he, Rav Ezi? He's 3 years old. He said, "Can we blow the shofar?" Like, he was just so sweet. If a bacher sent him, I'll be mad at the bacher. I don't think anybody sent him. He just, the kid just wanted to hear shofar. Like, literally 30 seconds later, Yisrael Meir said, "Daddy, can you hear the shofar?" And the whole place just burst out laughing. There was such innocence. Kalish, darshan after the shofar, go for like hours, go the rest. We just want to hear the shofar. You're saying nice. Tati, it's wonderful, great, print it, say it, Thursday night, speak. Can we blow the shofar? Like, these two innocent kids were just waiting for the shofar. Like, they wanted to hear the sound of the shofar. And from young ages, it's precious, the shofar sound. Our kids come to shul waiting for the shofar. It's a very chaviv mitzvah. And the older we get, the more we need it. It's a precious mitzvah that ever calls a yid to be new and to be fresh and to be mechazik, to strengthen oneself, that we're mamlech Hashem, ever new. Not to get old, not to get stale, not to get stuck. The very remez of tshuva, the underpinnings of somebody who then corrects, the start, that's the remez. The start of all of that is newness and freshness. Tshuva is the opposite of stuck. The opposite of people are just like in the muck and can't get out. You watch people for like decades. The man's been a bad husband, a bad this. I don't know, like doing the same things. Maybe we could hear and seize an opportunity of newness and freshness and an opportunity, a school as man, to say that we have a chance to be mechazik, to strengthen ourselves, to take on, and it means something different to us all. And certainly we have all things that we want to be new, ever fresh, ever new. It's something we all want. I had a very unique experience this year. Just bringing something out, like our ability to be new. I had the experience that in my house, a lot of my kids, 4 of the kids are out to different yeshivas, and I have 2 kids home. And the kids felt that they're many years apart, and they felt the house is so quiet. It's funny that Menachem Wiener's already been in my house, like on Shua Ruat, they're like, make noise, this place has become so quiet. And I was forced to look inside and say that I have to make more noise in my house. Be more Lebedik, dance a little bit, let's go, bring some energy. The kids deserve a young father. And it was interesting to me to think about the topic of being young, of being energetic, of being exciting, and that's something that all of us have to call upon in our lives, not to get old, not to get stale, not to get to a place that we're just mailing it in and doing what we did yesterday. It's a tremendous skulas hazman in the Kol Shofar. The Kol Shofar that calls to us, we're coronating Hashem today. The Kol Shofar that says to a person, I'm an Eved Hashem, and I'm asking Hashem, let's go, renew your Malchus, I want you. Even the Chassidish picture of the reluctant Melech. There's a beautiful picture. Hashem, please, come on, don't shut the Malchus. Even that call to, it's only l'sabras ha'ozen. It's only to get us to connect to something. We want it, we need it, we're interested in it. It shouldn't be stale, it shouldn't be old. It should be something ever new. I have I have an avodah before every year to retake the job. Then at times, there's a whole process of going back. None of us should just do our duties as a father, as a husband, as a rebbe, as a working person, as all the beautiful things that we're involved in. Do it fresh. Come back to it with a new oomph. There's a skulas hazman of Rosh Hashanah to do that. It's a Rosh Hashanah, it's a beginning. A beautiful opportunity to make a beginning and to be mechazik and to dream and to hope again and to be excited again. It was very cute. I'm saying it here and I see heads nodding. It was very cute to say it to a youngster. He's looking at me. He's like, what are you talking like? He's coming from that place of youth, and it was interesting. Like the shofar by him, it's interesting that our youth connect to shofar so easily. They are a shofar. That little kid who said, "Could you blow the shofar?" You are a youngster. It's funny to me that's probably going to be my picture of shofar the rest of my life. Is the little kid say, "Could you blow the shofar already?" I'm so excited. I just want he's so fresh and excited. He just wants to hear the shofar blow. So I say to us all to be mechazik. The shofar of youth, I associate shofar with being young, with a call, an ever-fresh call. And I love that Reb Krohn described an 80-year-old, Reb Avram Cohen, Unzer Reb Krohn, described an 80-year-old uncle deciding to learn through Shas. And when he was 87, he made his first Siyum HaShas. What a young, beautiful man. The shofar says to us, renew our Kabbalahs of Hashem's Malchus. Tamlichuni Aleichem. Anoint me king. Ever new, ever fresh. A new opportunity, and not to get stale and hardened. Sure, we have patterns. We can break patterns carefully, with much thought. We need 8 days after to say, okay, I'm excited, but how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Okay, so we find the fountain of youth. We find the kayach. Then we have 8 days to inaugurate plans of action. How we're going to be more stark, and that needs chachma, not to fall into old patterns. It needs intelligence. It needs a chap. It needs something that we're talking to add to be fresh. Something that we're going to put in our lives to refreshen. But I just want to say this to my friends. I want to sit here in the final few days of the year and say to us that let's close out the year with a decision to be fresh people. Let's go into Rosh Hashanah with that energy of freshness, of newness. Let's be Mekabel Malchus Hashem, ever fresh, ever new, as fresh Avdei Hashem, and all of us should be Zeichen. All of us should be Zeichen to a beautiful, beautiful year of Nachas from our children, Yishuv Hadas, of Shalom Bayis, of Parnasa, Gesund, all the things we want because we want to serve Hashem. And all the ingredients that we need parnasa to serve Hashem. If we don't have money, so we can't support our families properly, we can't support our institutions, we should have parnasa b'revach. If we don't have gesund, so then we're so tired in sickness, we can't focus on serving Hashem. We should have gesund. We should have shalom, we should have peace. We don't want to fight. We want to serve Hashem, we should have shalom. We should have peace. Enkli machzik brachel al shalom. We want a world that's unified, Hashem echad, so we have to be echad, all His children. What for a house that's divided? So then it's a broken home. We want a home with our tata that's shleimus, that the brothers, we should have a year of peace. A year of people making up and loving each other, appreciating each other. We should all have a gebench, taksiva v'chsima tova. Thank you so much.